What's up, guys? I'm Des from the Strong Family Money Show here in the backyard. Got my phone here. I have a list of things to talk about. With this video, I'll have a download. It's the answers that I have to these questions. So I have the here the top 10 financial questions everyone is asking. So I'll go down the question and then I'll give you my answer, my opinion. And then it'll be in the download. Anyway, let's do them rapid fire. Let's see how quick we can get through them. So, how do I know when I can retire? So number one thing is you want to have no debt when you retire. The worst thing you can do is incur debt later on in your age, in your years. You want to be working to when you want to get close to whenever you're planning on retiring. You want to make sure you have all your bills paid off, car, right, house. You shouldn't have a house payment. So you want to make sure you have no debt, right? You want to know how much your monthly income you need is. You definitely, because you're paying off all your debt, you should not have to incur any payments during that time. So it's basically, insurance, food, vacationing, right? You should be vacationing when you retire. So you want to know how much you need, right? Based on how much you need, you want to find out what your benefits are. Social Security, 401k, pension, right? So all these things have calculators online. Go to your employer, ask them to find your calculator for your like 401k or pension if you have one, and so you know how much you're going to get, right? Obviously what you're getting in retirement should be less than what you're going to spend, right? You want to have a cushion at all times, and you want to set a date, right? You want to say, so I know I have to pay off my debt, I have to find out what I need, I have to know what I'm gonna get from all of my funds, because I'm gonna retire on this date, right? So now you have a date, a goal, so then you do all those things to reach that date, right? Once you know all these things, that date will come in to focus. It'll be more clear when you can retire. But you definitely don't want to get to be 65 years old, still have a house payment, not know what's coming in from your retirement accounts, and then you're like, okay, well, I still gotta work 5 more years to make it to the end. So you want to make sure you plan ahead, right? How much should I have in an emergency fund, right? You should have 2 funds. You should have one, like $1,000, some small amount that's easy to get to, right? You don't spend it on anything frivolous. It's an emergency fund, right? You want to have it in a place where you can get to it quickly. Okay. Flat tire, garbage disposal goes out, right? You want funds for an emergency. Okay. Second one, which is the most difficult one, is you want to have 6 to 9 months of income saved away, just in case something happens, right? Something's always going to happen. Layoff, injury, right? You get crazy and you up and move someplace else, right? You want to have 6 to 9 months of income in a place that is not as easy to get to, but not impossible to get to. You want to have it in like a high yield savings. You want to have it in a mutual fund. You want to have it in something that you don't, low risk, right? It gives you some reward for just having it there. You want it to be no penalty, if not the most minimal penalty, to take the money out, because you want to. So if you're gonna have like something that makes money, there's always going to be something you got to pay them for taking the money out. But so you want to put it somewhere it's hard to get to, not impossible. So you have 2, easy to get to, $1,000, hard to get to, difficult to get to, 6 to 9 months of income. So you should have 2 funds. Can I buy a house? One, do you need one, right? It's always in a discussion here in my house, right? Does everyone really need to buy a house? Is renting cheaper than buying? Depending on where you live and what your plans are, it's always a toss-up, right? So first you want to find, do you really need a house, right? Can you afford one, right? So you gotta, and that goes into the other ones, right? So my other answers here, you want to find out what your credit score is. If it's not good, you want to work on your credit, right? Do not go to one of these credit repair places. Do it on your own. You are smart enough to do it on your own, and if you really want to achieve this goal, you will do it on your own, right? So can you afford one based on your income in the area in which you live, right? If a house is some dream of yours, so you have to decide, can I afford it in my area? If I can't, I have to move to an area I can afford it in, right? Find your credit score to get rid of the debt. Debt's going to come into play when you apply for a loan, right? They need to know what your debt is, and there's a ratio of debt to income that you need to qualify for. So, and in general, you should take care of your debt anyway. But so you want to, do you really need one? Can I afford one? What's my credit score? Do I have the right debt ratio? If all those are positive answers and you want to continue to get one, then you are ready to get a house, right? Should I save for my child's college education first? So you're planning for something that's going to happen in the future, right? So how you want to set it up is you plan for it, right? But you want to make sure that if something happens, then you are able to then take all this money back, right? And then you have to be very picky. And they are your children, but you have to be picky on why you're giving them this money, right? So anyway, you start early. You can do it's college, and it's college really the answer, right? So you have to. So when they are ready to go out into the world, is college really the answer for not just them? Not saying are they college material. I'm saying the workforce in general, right? Is college really necessary for them to do what they? Because some people just want to, have enough money to live on and go to the movies, right? So is that really for them? Is that really in general the workforce? And if it is, then you want to start what's called a 529 plan. You can start investing early, right? You hold it over a long period of time. My neighbor kid is a race car driver. Not really, but whatever. So you start a 529 plan, and you can also invest in a lot of things, right? So there are retirement plans that you can invest in that have a low penalty or a maturity date that you can put your money in, and then it increases over time. And that's really for planning if something happens, right? I'm not going to college. They get a bunch of scholarships, right? Something where you don't have to put all that money in, because technically it's your money, right? You don't, and this is controversial, you don't want to put yourself in a bad position for your future to help your kids with theirs, right? It's technically their responsibility to handle their future, but so you want to help. You have this money, it is technically yours, right? You're investing it, and technically when you give it to your kid, you're investing it also in them. When it's time for them to go, right, then you have this money, bam, you give it to them. They're not going, it's still your money, it's grown because it's an investment, bam, taking it back. Should I save or invest? You should do both, right? You should do savings for the short term, right? Like I was talking before, an emergency fund, long-term emergency fund, and you should invest for the long term, retirement, college, blah, 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 right? So you should do both. That also requires you to know where your money is coming and where it's coming from, where it's going. It may take a long time, it will take a long time to do, but you want to put some money in the savings, you want to put some money in the investment. You want to have available to you, you want to have it available to you later. So you should do both. You should save and you should invest. Should I get a credit card? Are you credit card worthy? And I'm not meaning do I qualify. I mean, am I going to abuse it? Right? You don't want to abuse it. That's when you get into trouble. Credit card should be used for you get the points, right? If you're gonna, the way we do it is we have a credit card, we put everything on the car, end of the month, pay it off, right? We accrue points. You get points, hotel, travel, blah blah blah, right? Some cards, when we have a card used on a certain website, you use it, you get a discount, right? So are you credit card worthy? Are you in control? Can you do something like that? You incur the credit card. You don't touch what your check goes in the bank. You spend on the credit card with a budget. You then take whatever you would have spent, that you put on the card, you pay it off, right? If you can do that and you want the points and it improves your credit score because you're paying things, then yes, you are credit card worthy. If you can't, then you probably shouldn't get one. Can I afford a new car? Always no. You should always buy your cars cash if you can. Yeah, because that's the only way you should buy your cars cash. Do I need a budget? Yes, right? If multi-million-dollar companies have a budget, then you definitely should have a budget. You should know where your money is going to, where it's coming from, how you invest it, what your expenses are, right? It's your money. Treat yourself like a company. Grow your money, right? Yes, you should have a budget. Is it really cheaper to eat at home? Totally, right? Our biggest expense, we don't buy toys, right? No expensive things. Our biggest expense, and it adds up because there are 5 people that eat when we go out, right? The baby's too young to eat. 5 people. We don't order from the kid menu. The kids don't like from the kid menu. Most of the time it's crappy anyway. At a certain point in time, we were spending huge amounts of money eating out. On the weekend, during the week, we're lazy, blah, blah, blah. Once we started cooking our own food for myself during the week, for work, on the weekends, we're limited to, 1, maybe 2 spots. Now it's takeaway because of what's going on. So, we only get what we're going to eat. There's not like appetizer and drinks and all that stuff. But definitely eating at home will save you considerable amount of money. So 1, you should learn how to cook. 2, you should find out what things that you like to eat when you eat out that you can make at home, so you can start doing that. But definitely cooking your own food will save you a ton of money. Number 10, last one, is a second job really worth it? Never say no to money. So 1, do you have the time to do it, right? Do you have enough time to devote to some sort of part-time? What you should do first is there a way for you to do this at your current employer? Can you work more, right, overtime? Can you do another position, right? If you work in one department, does another department need help? Or something totally crazy, can you do something to make your employer money that they'll pay you for to do? So you want to make sure you have time. Is it something that you can work into what you're doing? If you don't, and if you have time to do outside, then most definitely you should. If you need to, if you want extra money, then yes, of course you should get a second job. And when you go out and find one, right? Do you want to? Then you have some time to play, something to play with, right? So I work in this job, but I like soccer, right? I'm gonna go referee on the weekends, right? I work in this job, I'm a sneakerhead, so I'm gonna go work at whatever, Foot Locker or whatever. Can you use a hobby that you do and you know something about to then make money? Or you can go the other way. I work at this job, but I really like to do this, right? And in my part-time job that I'm working for somebody else, I'm going to expand my skill set so then I can then transition into this other job as full-time. So because it's part-time after your primary employment, you can do a lot of things to play with it. But definitely, if you don't say no to money, second job is definitely worth it. Everyone says, "Oh, the taxes." No, at the end you have extra money that you can do extra things with. Save it, invest it. So anyway, those are the top 10 questions that I've gotten for what to do with your money. If you have any more, shoot me a DM, shoot me an email, and on my next time I get enough questions, I'll make another one of these Q&A videos. Thanks a lot, and I'll talk to you guys next time.